Hey all, it is end of May 2024 and the yard is just exploding with blooms and fragrance. This in-ground Inca Gold has been in my yard for 9 years and you can see she is just full of bloom right now, looking gorgeous and smelling incredible. Definitely one of my favorite varieties to grow in our climate. Just an incredible citrus-like floral fragrance coming from this plant, and more hardy than other varieties. So she is definitely liking the weather right now. Gardenias have been out actually in bloom for a while here, and they're just slowing down now, but also an incredible fragrance that they emit in the yard. Definitely a nice ground cover if you don't have that. Great for your pollinators. And the roses are incredible right now. They are in full bloom. I did do a rose tour last month. They were definitely not in this stage, but you can see they put on a lot of growth and they're just covered in blooms. I wasn't planning on putting any shade cloth up, but just want to see how they would do with that compared to the ones that are in full sun. So you will see that I've got some 60% shade cloth already hung here on these roses in the back. They don't need it yet, but the 100-degree weather is coming here soon. I focus a lot on my fruit trees and edibles, but the roses also play an important role in the garden to attract in the bees, hummingbirds, and the rest of our pollinators and beneficial insects. Out of all the plants in the yard, the frankincense or Boswellia sacra that you can see right in front has been the biggest magnet for bees. There were literally thousands in this tree when it was in full bloom. You can see that it's now past that stage. The flowers have dried up and there are just thousands of seed pods now covering this tree. Not many leaves on the tree, but an enormous amount of seed pods. Behind my pool I have a series of cannas and they are all out in full bloom as well. While it's a pretty common plant, you can find this even at big box stores. I think it's a nice complement to the food forest because it's a great chop and drop. There are actually edible uses for canna leaves, and I know my chickens really enjoy the leaves as well, so it's a good fodder for them. Beautiful color. And you can see they come in a lot of different colors and patterns. They do quite well here as long as you are consistent with your watering of them during the high heat. So I'm standing on the wall to my pool because I want to show you something pretty cool that's going on, and that is my royal poinciana is putting on a lot of flower buds and has started to bloom here at the end of May. This tree was planted as a 3-gallon in 2017, so it's been in the ground for 7 years here. It first bloomed last year, and that's around when you can expect your royal poincianas to start blooming, is at that 5 to 6 year mark. The difference this year is how many buds there are. I'm going to try to zoom in so you can see just how many sprays of buds are covering this tree. It's going to be quite the show this year. Here's the base of the royal poinciana. You can see it's multi-trunked. we'll see if we can kind of zoom in on these flowers. You can see it lives up to its name. Flame tree has those beautiful red-orange blooms in clusters, look like orchids. And there's really nothing special I do with this tree, so it's really just about patience. It will eventually bloom for you and get into a huge shade tree like I've got here. So the Subel white sapote is doing its normal leaf cycle thing where it's dropping leaves and putting on new for the change of seasons. That's pretty typical with this plant. It flowered in December, and you can see has set quite a bit of fruit here. From the bottom of the tree all the way to the top. And another thing you'll notice with this tree as it gets more mature is that it will bloom multiple times a year, which is why you'll tend to get fruit almost half the year with this tree. So you can see there it's actually setting blooms again. The longan flowered last month and has now set some fruit here. This is the Kahala variety. The fruit set on the figs this year is insane. They are just covered in figs. Main crop, that is. It's actually a fairly poor year with breba crop. You can see there's a Socorro black breba sitting there. And actually I prefer it that way, that I don't get much on the breba figs and we get our majority on main crop, because the main crop figs do tend to taste a lot better and ripen a whole lot better. You can see the new Frankenfig, the LSU purple, is looking pretty good. I did lose one graft out of the lot there. It just was a weak graft point and the branch broke off. But that's why I always do 2 of each type in case that happens. So this looks like it's establishing really well. I've actually gone ahead and removed the grafting tape and electric tape at this point. Since these were grafted back in February, they definitely have had a chance to fully heal by now. See, the apples are coming in really nice. Those tend to ripen up in June for us here. This is the Anna variety. Vegetable garden is going crazy here. You can see all of these eggplants. See the Japanese variety. They are hiding all over the place. Tomatoes continue to set fruit here because they're under the shade cloth. This Arbequina olive, I have never seen so many olives on it before. It's gonna be thousands this year to process. So that's exciting to me. I do really love brined olives from the Arbequina. Just finished processing apricots. It was a fairly good year. The Katie and Gold Kissed both put out several hundred apricots, which is about normal. Last year they put on double that, so it's kind of an insane harvest last year. But definitely a good one to grow here. My favorite way to preserve apricots is actually to just cut them in half, de-seed them, flash freeze them, and then stick them in freezer bags. They'll last for a year. You can put them in, smoothies or use them in other recipes. But that makes preservation pretty easy. I'm not a big jam person, but you could definitely make jam out of apricots as well. We'll take a look at the cherry island, see how that's growing along. Everything's looking pretty good in here. Lots of new growth. Doing well under the shade cloth here. So the ice cream bean is continuing to put on flowers. You see another set here. I'm not banking on getting any ice cream pods, but pretty cool, again, that this is flowering. The chill hours were so great this year that I actually had to really thin this Asian pear, and there's still quite a lot of fruit on it, but it's going to be a very good harvest this year. For my panache tiger fig tree, I thought this was kind of cool. It actually had a mutation on it that turned this leaf variegated. That's not normal for a panache tiger. And you can see it actually set some albino fruits there. Lots of fruit on this tree as well. The new aprium is coming along, and the established laicot is got a decent amount of fruit this year. And those are ripening up and will into the next few weeks. And of course the jacaranda is in full bloom right now. They do shed. I don't mind it. Free mulch. Beautiful flowers in great shade. So I wanted to say that with the pomegranates, I've had really abysmal years for fruit. The last few years, the bugs have just rotted the fruit out no matter how many organza bags I put on the fruit. So I'm trying something a little different this year. Number one, I've heard by many people that you should not leave any litter under the trees of pomegranates. Keep them super clean, because that's where the leaf-footed bugs will overwinter and put eggs and such and really attack your tree. So I did remove all of the retaining brick and really clean the tree up and try to keep it, as clean as I can. So that's tactic number one. The other thing I'm going to be doing is using surround. So you can see I've done one application so far. That's that crop protectant. I've read some studies that say that it helps protect the fruit from insects. They don't want to bite into that because of that chalky kind of substance that it leaves. They just don't find that to be appealing, and they'll leave the tree alone. So I'm hoping between those two things I will have a good harvest of pomegranates this year and not get that kind of black heart disease that I've been seeing the last few years. So I'll keep you updated on that, see if that works out. The tropical area is just insane with growth. The dragon fruit, get my first one, climbed the trellis there, so topped it. So hopefully that'll start pushing side growth and develop more of that canopy structure. Who knows, might get some dragon fruits this year. But everything is really thriving in this shade and loving the heat. Mangoes continue to put new growth on. Seems just every couple weeks I'm seeing new leaves shoot, so they are very happy. And I've been really lazy as far as food. I'm just using Osmocote right now for the potted plants in here. It's just a slow release. It means I don't have to keep coming out and feeding them, and it's been working pretty well. I pretty universal. Use it on all the plants. So whether it's coffee or avocado, you know, or the mangoes and other tropicals I have in here, they all seem to do well with it. On my Namdok Mai, because it is an established tree, I did allow it to fruit this year. So have a handful of mangoes here. Hopefully those will ripen up. It is also flushing new growth as well. And even though this side is facing the west, this Mexican sunflower is doing such an excellent job shading things. It actually grows so vigorously I've had to chop it back because it was otherwise pushing into these mango plants. But you can see really nice dense shade in here. Absolutely love Mexican sunflower as a support plant. And it puts on these beautiful sunflowers as well. Both the papayas survived the winter, as well as the bananas. Those are looking nice now, greening up, growing. The loquat's doing well. This is the seedling. Continues to push growth. This Mexican sunflower is helping shield that guy as well. And as we come down to the root zone here, you can see it's in this nice shade. And the sweet potatoes that I just did not even harvest last year are coming back up on their own. I didn't plant these. You just have to plant sweet potato once and it will be there forever. So they're growing all over the place. This will be a jungle floor soon here. And Barbados cherries are definitely coming in. They really were strong a few weeks back. They're probably the birds' favorite fruit in the yard, so they definitely go for those. But if you have enough of these and let them get big enough, that is gonna give you fruit as well. So temperatures really haven't been all too bad lately. We are definitely not in the high heat of the summer yet, but I'm hoping with all the shade and the good start that these plants have gotten that they are going to power through summer just fine. Hope you're enjoying the weather as much as I am right now.